breaking news. The news. The news.
I saw that too.
Breaking news. The news. We like the news.
Here it is. Well, I just wanted to go through a couple of stories. They don't relate to one another at all, but these are weird headlines or stories that I was like, hey, I think I'd like to get your feedback on.
We'll find the connection.
The first one is Pam Bondi. So Pam Bondi is pressured to make Epstein's documents public now as questions swirl around the delay. This is from the Daily Mail. Came out yesterday, the 25th of February. Attorney General Pam Bondi is under bipartisan pressure, and that's interesting, bipartisan, to release documents related to Epstein's case, including a potential client list. Bondi, recently appointed, confirmed possessions of these files, and we'll play a clip of that in just a second, and is reviewing them as directed by Donald Trump, President Trump. Lawmakers from both parties, including Representative Anna Paulina Luna and Senator Marsha Blackburn, as well as Democrats, including Ilhan Omar, are calling for the transparency and public release of the documents. Here's Pam Bondi. I believe this was last week or maybe earlier this week.
25th of...
Well, it says this was 5 days ago, so this was the 20th. So last week, this is Pam Bondi on Fox News, where she is asked if she has access to Jeffrey Epstein's files and his potential client list.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Interesting.
Well, we'll check back with you.
Not yet.
Well, what is she going to say?
Not yet. I mean,
it means she knew what was there.
How long is this freaking list? Number one, it's just names. Who went to the island? It's not. I don't think it's that hard. The shit's been sitting there for years. When did he get? When was he arrested?
So he was arrested originally the very first arrest was 2006. That was here for the charges of trafficking a minor, but they've reduced those charges. Remember, they let him out on that home release.
I'm
the
saying
second one,
the main one,
2019, he was arrested, then died in jail awaiting trial on sex trafficking.
So
charges.
almost 6 years. Like what, dude?
No, it was 5 years that the story blew open, but that sweetheart deal that he got was pre-2016.
Yeah, it was 2006.
Okay. But I have a funny joke. The reason why Democrats are supporting it is because they are misunderstanding what transparency means. Okay, no, she damn well better release it. That was not like, I misspoke. And it is something that will receive bipartisan support because Democrats think somehow Trump or, Republican allies are on the list. Republicans think every Democrat pervert is on the list, including Clinton. If she doesn't release it, it's been a busy week, maybe next week. Day one means sometimes day one plus a few. But if they don't release it, I will lose a little bit of faith because it was a big promise and almost a litmus test promise of transparency of Trump and his innocence in all of this.
Dude, which, in my opinion, if Trump's name was on it, this would have came out before Russia collusion. They would have been like, oh, he's a pedophile. Hey, Bill, I'm sorry, you're going to go down with the ship too, whoever the hell was on it. What did Elon say about his guy from PayPal?
Reid Hoffman.
Reid Hoffman. I've never seen somebody go, because Tucker was like, so you think some billionaires are petrified that the list is going to come out?
Yes.
Like who? Reid Hoffman. You think he should be scared? Yes. Yes. Listen to me. This is my read. That means you know who this guy really is. And what, by the way, and you want to talk about fits the profile? Look at Reid Hoffman and look at the people that are on To Catch a Predator. They all kind of have that Bill Gates-ish look of that creepy, sweater.
They've always got the weird black rimmed glasses. They've got that I'm heavy set, not morbidly obese, but I'm heavy. I've got love handles and back fat. That look.
That look.
Yeah.
And it bothers me.
Swamp people. Now, what's interesting is this is Pam Bondi from 2024, where she's actually criticizing Merrick Garland and Biden's Department of Justice for doing the same thing that she is currently being accused of doing, which is slow rolling the release of the Epstein files. Natalia, if we could play this clip. By the way, Pam Bondi, and I say this with the utmost respect, total hottie.
Oh,
59 years old.
She's a grandma.
Bro.
Pam Hottie, not Pam Bondi.
Dude, everybody from Luna to even...
Anna Paulina Luna.
Who's the White House press secretary? Caroline Levitt. They're all gorgeous.
I gotta be honest, even Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm starting to get turned
dude,
on. I'm
Alina
like,
It's like the hits just keep on coming. I love all of them. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, play the clip.
want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
And if anybody should know, we can cut the clip there, but if anybody should know about the Jeffrey Epstein case, it should be Pam Bondi. Prior to being appointed Attorney General of the United States, she was the Attorney General for the state of Florida, of which that's where all the Epstein crimes took place, that and then internationally because they would travel to Epstein's Island. But she was the Attorney General for the state of Florida 2011 to 2019. So she was well aware of the case because he got charged in 2019.
How much of this, Dave, and I'm going to come to you, let's be honest with each other. What is the holdup? We'll get into the JFK thing because even Trump was like, they told me not to, Mike Pompeo, which there's no other explanation except you guys, meaning the CIA, that organization, was in on it. Plain and simple. Number one. Number two, what would hold her back? Kash Patel said on day one, today, by my calculations, not counting the weekend, is day 3. 0. What are you reviewing? What are you? I know him. I don't know him. What's the holdup? What is it?
So I'm going to piggyback on what you said earlier. I think this is the litmus test thing is perfect. Like this got to come out, and if it doesn't, we all.
But what? But here's my question: What?
Right.
Why are you waiting?
So
is
here's
it because y'all know people.
So here's what I'm wondering.
Diligence?
Here's what I'm wondering.
No, I don't know. I want it now, actually.
Yeah, it's like J.G. Wentworth. It's my
money,
money.
I want it now.
So like in my life, I've made mistakes where like I jump to conclusions or I go ahead and I make like a snap judgment and I wind up wishing, oh damn, if I just held that back a little bit longer. My hope is that they don't want to send people panicking. They don't want to give guys an idea what's coming. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
But my thing is,
I've got an operating theory.
Go.
They know when to release stuff when they want it to make the biggest splash in the media. They know that they might want some people sweating a little bit for this to come out. Mm-hmm. They have to release it. It's a non-starter for them not to. The only question is, what are they waiting for? And I think it's just either wait for a slow news day or wait for a bad news day and then distract with this, or make the pervs sweat it out.
See, and I'm not cool with that. What happened?
That should be the title of today's episode. Make the pervs sweat it out.
Because you know what it is to me? I'm thinking about okay, I'll say hundreds, maybe thousands of children that were either sexually assaulted, I don't want to use the R word, abused, and potentially killed, because the numbers of missing children just in general, you're on an island. Have you seen the island? You know, dude, it's sex trafficking. Those people disappear. So that's one thing. I'm fighting. I want it for those kids to have some closure. And number two, besides the list, besides Ghislaine Maxwell, who has all the videotapes? Where are all? Hold on. They exist. I know a guy that works in the FBI. They exist. And they have everybody on there, bro. Everybody's on that fucking thing. And I want to see it. I want to see. Now, I don't want to see disgusting stuff. I want to see if it's somebody, a big politician in a room with a 15-year-old. I want to see him walking out. And I want to go, that's the guy.
Yeah. As long as we don't show the 15-year-old.
No, definitely no.
Well, that is the dilemma as how you would even like share, disclose, or release this stuff. It would be a crime to publish it or to upload or to republish it. I just thought of another reason. They might be using it as some sort of negotiation tactic in other political spheres and other political discussions. The bottom line, though, they don't have to. If they're going to not release everything, they can release some of it if there might be some compelling reason that there is a pending prosecution. But no, they have to. They will, because if they don't, they're going to eat the wrath of their own supporters.
Nak, whoever could ask the chat, Nak, you ask, and I'll go to you, Chris. Do you guys think it'll be released by the end of March? In the month of March, are they going to release this list? I say no. Go ahead.
And like, look, if I can look into the future and see in hindsight, if it took me a couple of more weeks to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and not screw something up so that later when they go to court, somebody can get off on some slick thing here or there, I'd rather sit it out a couple more weeks, let them figure everything out, and make sure everybody who's supposed to get it gets it.
I just want
Getting off on some slick thing here or there is
I
what
heard
got
that.
him on the list in the first place.
Vinny, I've actually bet against you. I think they are going to release it. There's a Kalshi market, which is whether or not they're going to release it within the first 100 days, which ends, I think, on May 1st. It's
my birthday.
I think they're going. It's at 50-50 now, and it should be at 90-10. But I think they're going to. They have to. Because the pressure on the internet, when you got the Laura Loomers on the internet saying release the documents, and you've got some of the most diehard MAGA supporters on the Twitter X saying it, they have to. They have no choice.
Okay. What do you think, Bob?
I have two more quick stories I want to get through,
Go.
and then we'll turn it over to whoever's next. The next story, real quick, this is in the news. This is RFK Jr.'s former running mate. This is Nicole Shanahan. She's cute. She was on X yesterday, where she claims America has a top-secret program spraying chemicals into the air, or as my father calls it, chemtrails. Could we go to the video here, Natalia, real quick? This is Nicole Shanahan. She goes, hey, I was out surfing. I look up, I see all these planes going, and it made me start to think about some things. Go ahead and play the clip.
I can't
can't
hear.
hear.
Can't hear anything.
I'm like, yeah, hopefully it's not just me. I am legally
No, I'm
deaf.
deaf.
No,
I'm deaf
there's
too.
nothing going on.
I was taking the weekend off the internet. I've been surfing this morning and was watching the planes flying overhead, and then I couldn't take it anymore. But that is not a contrail. That looked like it started as a contrail maybe, and now it's turning into a cloud. See how thick that is? You can see this one, it's a little further behind. This one's a little bit further behind as well. This one is the one that's been up there longest. This shit has to end. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, she goes
Like
on
an
to...
otherwise perfect day.
We can pause it.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that actually really bothers my parents. It's so odd. My dad, I've said this on this podcast before, my dad has maybe 3 or 4 photos of his grandchildren on his phone. The other 27 gigabytes are photos of chemtrails. And it's to the point where we were driving to Jersey for July 4th a few years ago, and we drove all the way up there. And as we're driving, and he's driving, he's leaning over and taking photos of chemtrails. And I'm like, Pop, you're 70. You got to pay attention to the road. And he's like busy with chemtrails. He is obsessed. He goes, you don't understand. In my lifetime, there was a time where we would look to the sky and we'd never see this stuff ever. So for you to sit here and tell me that it's contrails from the engines. And so one of the things that they go to is that it's geoengineering. They're spraying to cool the temperatures of the earth. Who knows? But guys, do you guys look at the sky and think that the trails above us are geoengineered, or are they just condensation from airplanes?
Yeah, I've always operated on the basis that they were condensation from airplanes, because I do remember seeing them even as a kid. But am I mistaken, or do they not specifically admit and confirm that they are doing this in the sky, seeding?
No, they say that if they were to, the cloud seeding, yes, like I know that they've done it in Saudi Arabia, and they've seen monsoons of rain come through when they've done it. But I don't know, to be honest with you. I've seen the news report of where there was like a news anchor talking about them spraying the atmosphere, but the government never says that they do it. And part of the reason why people discredit the theory is that they think, well, it would take so many people to be involved in that cover-up that there's no way they could keep it quiet. But at this point, day and age, can't they use drones to go up there and spray that? They wouldn't actually need pilots going up and spraying that. They could use it via a remote control drone.
But look at how many airplanes are flying over the country at all times. All they have to
Already.
do is put an additive inside the gasoline. And who knows? By the way, and here's my thing, and then Kelly, I'm going to go to you. Robbie, we're talking about the same people, because to me, it would be the government. If it's true, it would be the government. The same government that would take black soldiers and give them LSD to test it on them and during Vietnam and shit. And all the
Tuskegee experiments, giving them syphilis?
Bro, the same people, the same people that
COVID.
shot. Dude, yeah, or COVID, or to say absolutely not, I think is completely absurd. This is a government that doesn't give a shit about us at all. But bro, my cousin is a pilot. I can't say for which airline. When I asked him, it was a FaceTime, and he just looked at me and he was like, I can't really say. And I go, wait. I go, I'm your fucking cousin. He goes, but how about this? I don't believe it's a contrail. Even if it's the fuel, guys, the fuel from the airplanes are coming down and you're breathing it, bro. Cancer's up. All this shit spraying it's a film. It's like happening and it lands on shit, bro. Have you ever clean your car and then there's shit all over your car for no reason? There's no fire, there's no nothing, and there's just a white thing on my car. It's not pollen. I was living in Montana. It's flying and it's all X's and it looks like it's causing horrible. Bro, who knows? What do you think?
I think it'd be pretty easy for them to get away with, only because I watched the show Black Knight on Netflix, and it's just propaganda to control the masses, what everybody thinks. They're all wearing masks if they go outside. They have to stay inside for a certain number of hours of the day. And it turns out, instead of drones, it was freaking cleanup cars that were supposed to be cleaning the air, and they were the ones causing it. It turns out at the end of the show. So, like, all it takes is, like, propaganda, like Operation Mockingbird, everybody to do follow these rules so that you're safe. But meanwhile, they're controlling us. But what is the reason they're controlling us for would be the question. What's the purpose of the chemtrails?
Well, think about it.
What are they trying to get from
our
us?
lifespan has gotten shorter. People are getting freaking cancer. People are
If they
dumb
kill
as
us, then they
shit.
can't-
People
well,
voted
so-
for
That's-
Joe Biden
that's
and
the
Kamala Harris.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, people, think about the divide of what stupidity is in this country and what common sense is. Maybe it's the chemtrails or whatever the hell you're talking about. And the food has gone to shit. Everything is horrible. Everything's poison.
The first thing is, from what I understand, there's a lot of ambient dust in the air that actually comes from the brake pads and the exhaust of vehicles. So I would look
That's
there before
another
looking
thing.
at airplanes. You know, when your dad says, "I didn't see this when I was a kid, and I didn't see this growing up," and they grew up through, you know, the emergence of commercial airline aviation. I was just double checking, like, fuel has evolved over time, so there might be new components in the fuel that are causing this form of condensation more now than before. Before I would go to chemtrails for the purposes of what, I'm not sure. I believe they're doing cloud seeding, but there might be a sort of an innocuous explanation that we're seeing it more now just because of what's in the fuel of jets and the amount of jets that are up there. It's like exponentially more now. So like at any point in time, there's 2 million people in the air.
And flying
I
in
might
the
be wrong
sky.
on that number, but it could be a number of
No
things that
wonder
are
we have
causing
so
it to be
many
more
crashes.
prevalent.
Yeah, I think. Well, I heard from what my cousin said. It's aluminum oxide that's inside the fuel. And what you're talking about, Robbie, all that shit, all that stuff that's in there, they're saying that that's bouncing the sun's light away from us. It's like, bro, leave the fucking sun alone, bro. We're gonna go. Trust me, when Mother Nature wants us to go, we're gone. As George Carlin said, we're a nuisance. We're a surface nuisance. People are like, plastic bags. It's like, bitch, if Earth is ready to kick us off, because 90%, well over 90% of every species that was ever here is gone. We didn't kill them all.
We're
They're
pretty
just gone.
adaptable as a human species.
Of course
we
we
look
are.
different than we looked, 100 years ago to 200 years
Yeah,
ago.
but we're gonna
so-
go too. Trust me.
Well,
we're-
and how often has the government hidden from it? Like, when do
Never.
they hide
I
when they're
trust them.
doing good things? Like, when they're doing something positive for the people, they're the first ones to go, by the way, we're doing this. So if this was something innocent and they were doing something good and they were like, well, we're actually doing this to deflect the sun's rays, it has no harmful effects on human beings, they would tell us. But they're not doing that. They're hiding it. One final story real quick, and then we'll move on
love
to
your
the next
story.
segment. This is Monica Lewinsky. Everybody remembers her. She became famous for giving a blowjob. And
Yeah.
and also having cigars shoved inside of her. Like, we forget that
Yeah.
that was the
What?
weirdest. Yeah.
What do you mean cigars?
That
My mom-
Bill Clinton inserted
What?
cigars into her vagina and then put it in his mouth and said, what he said, it says tastes delicious or something.
Yeah, and
along those
did he
lines.
smoke
Stop.
it?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
joking.
The fact that she hasn't monetized her own line
she
of
was an
cigars is
intern.
a missed
He was
business
president.
opportunity.
You're joking.
By the way,
You didn't know that?
No,
See?
I didn't know this.
Yeah, that's
I
the guy
grew
that
up
everybody loves.
sheltered.
And
Yeah,
you know
well,
why I would never do that? Because what happens is you're going to lose some of the leaf inside the vajayjay.
Yeah,
you're going
it
to cause an
gets you
internal
high.
infection.
Dude, well,
Why?
in all
Gross.
fairness though, could you imagine being married to Hillary Clinton? Ugh, I'd be a freak.
It's not on fire, right?
Oh, no.
no.
And I'm pretty sure
If
it
she
was still
smoked
wrapped,
it,
but-
then that's talent. If she was just like, Bill, and then she was like,
blowing O's.
Oh my God, I'm gonna throw
I've
up.
known girls that can shoot ping pong.
I saw, I was at that show too.
So anyway,
Sorry.
hold on. Let's go to this video real quick, and then we'll wrap up because it's very interesting what's going on right now in the Monica Lewinsky world. All of a sudden, for some reason, Monica Lewinsky is back in the news, and now all of a sudden, she's a victim. And part of this, I'd actually like Kelly's input real quick when we get to it, but part of this is that she's claiming that she was abused by Bill Clinton because he was in a position of power. But at the time that she had the affair with Bill Clinton, she was 22 years old. So for her to not accept responsibility as a grown adult woman then just says, well, no women are in control. And for me, it sends a bad message
have
to
an
all ladies
opinion.
out there. But here's the clip of Monica Lewinsky saying Bill Clinton should have resigned instead of throwing her under the bus for the sexual escapades that took place.
The right way to handle a situation like that would have been to probably say it was, nobody's business
Yeah.
and to resign, or to find a way to find a way of staying in office that was not lying and not throwing a young person who is just starting out in the world under the bus.
Gave her, not to be rude, but her whole career since 1996 has been known for blowing the president.
That's it.
Like, I feel weird saying that you're not a victim, Monica Lewinsky. You're not, and you're not. First of all, she made that announcement on the Call Her Daddy podcast.
Yeah.
That's one step above the Hawk Tua other blowjob gal podcast. So at a certain point, you're getting famous for sexual stuff. Like, at least Kim Kardashian is like, look, I made a mistake. It was a tape. Maybe it wasn't. She turned that into $1 billion empire. This girl's not a victim. And this is Rolling Stone magazine a week ago. I managed to survive somehow, so it's possible. Bitch, you're the one that blew the guy.
Okay,
He didn't. Well,
it wasn't against her will. He wasn't holding it like it wasn't like Chuck Schumer was there holding her hogtied and he's doing this. She was a willing participant.
Time out. Okay, first of all, Kim Kardashian and Monica Lewinsky, two completely different scenarios.
Yeah, one was hot and was on film, and the other had a cigar
One
in her
was doing
vagina.
it on purpose to go on film. The other one was doing it either because she was stupidly in love or because she thought it was this little kick, blowing the president of the number one
Please,
leader
Kelly,
of the free
use
world.
better language. We're all gentlemen.
Kelly, God.
How dare you?
No. So those are two completely different things. If I was to have an affair with, I'll go with, okay, Vinny, I'm looking at you. If I was to have an affair with Vinny, right, and you were in a power position over me and that helped me with my job, then I'm not expecting that to go. I'm not expecting that to be on camera. I'm not doing that. Kim Kardashian was doing that on purpose. So that's two different things. You don't expect when you're having an affair out of love or passion or because of this kick that like you're going to be exposed to the entire world, and that's what you're known for. So she was not prepared for that, first of all. Second of all, I don't hear what you said, Rob, about her saying that that she's a victim. I didn't hear her say that at all. She was saying that he should have taken responsibility to protect her versus it just being all her fault. She's the crazy one saying that I did this and I didn't. It is unfair to her that she got thrown under the bus. I think that she's made the best out of it, which is great. But I also think he could have said it's nobody's business.
Well, I mean, she was sleeping with a married man. First of all,
okay, yeah,
let's just stop.
It's the President of the United States of America. I was inclined to give her the victim card for my entire life. Because I do think that he was in a position of power. It's the President of the United States taking advantage of a young intern. Yes. Sure, she's the age of majority. It's a position of weakness to a position of power. I was prepared to give her the victim card until she turns around and votes for the very same party that sexually assaulted her, that ruined her life when she came forward with it. And then she says,
that
I'm going to go vote for them. Then I said, yep, you were a Mossad honeypot the entire time. Now that rings true.
That logic, that path, I can understand that. But for it to just be, she is an adult. It's still females, we got these brains. Sorry, guys. We are meant to be emotional creatures. So, and the men is supposed to protect us, take care of us. So there's that dynamic that gets super warped when it's a person in a position of power. So I feel bad that she got outed. How she's taken advantage of it and handled it afterwards is on her.
Yeah,
voting for Kamala Harris, you lost all sympathy that you ever had, and now I view her with a great degree of suspicion.
Big time suspicion. Because I mean, dude, there's a lot of stuff that points to what you were talking about. That she was a honeypot from Mossad. You heard all the other stuff about.
Yeah, there's people in the chat saying Alan Shatosky, Greenspan in the chat keeps saying Mossad honeypot.
I absolutely believe it. I mean, I believe it now more than I ever did, and it might be some of the reason why they're not releasing the Epstein files, is that you might discover that some geopolitical decisions were the result of extortion and not the result of diplomacy.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.